For number 11, we actually have to perform two transformations. So it says which set of points represents the image of QRS after first a translation along the vector negative 12, 9, followed by a reflection over y equals 4. Okay, and if you notice, this is a multiple choice question. So first thing I notice is that point Q, all four choices have a unique answer or a unique point for Q, which means I only have to do this to one point. If you notice, all the points for R, S, and Q, R, and S are all different. So choose one of the points, and the rest will have to be correct because nothing repeats itself. So I'll do point Q just because it's listed first. And if I go back to my answer, negative 5, positive 2, that has to be my answer. So I don't have to do the others, so save yourself some work. Do it on our graph paper where it is a single unit and not by twos. So first I'm going to translate, and this is going to go off. Oh no, it's not. I think that we're okay. So first I need to go 12 units, so it's a negative 12. So that means I'm going to go left along the x-axis, and 9 is positive, so I'm going to go up on the y-axis. So from 7 to the origin, that's 7 units. And then another 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gets me, that's 12 to the left. And then I'm going to go 9 up. So here we're at negative 3, so this is 3. So I need to go 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So my point Q is now at negative 5, positive 6. So my first transformation is complete. My second transformation calls for a reflection over y equals 4. Okay. Do not forget that y equals 4 is a horizontal line because it goes through the y-axis at positive 4, because every point on my line has to have a y value of 4. So point Q, to reflect over, remember I'm going to count, it's only 2 units to my line of reflection. So I'm going to go 2 units over. So Q prime, the final answer for Q prime after those two transformations is negative 5, positive 2. Okay. Next question. Here we have a series of transformations that will map rectangle ABCD to A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Okay. So that means we're starting at the darkened rectangle and we're going to the lighter gray triangle. So the best way to do this is process of elimination. Go through each choice and see if it works. Okay, so, and again, we only have to choose one point. We don't have to do all of them. So let's go with D. And if you notice, my X and Y axis doesn't have any numbers on it, so we can assume that we're counting by ones on this one. So choice A, reflection in the y-axis, and then a translation of 4, -3. All right, so my y-axis is here. So D is 1 unit, so that puts D here. And then a translation of +4. So that's going to move me to the right 4 units. And then down 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 puts me here. And down 1, 2, 3. So I do believe A is our answer, but it would not be prudent for us to just assume, because maybe I counted wrong. So we want to make sure we eliminate B, C, and D. Okay, so B, a reflection over the x-axis, then a translation of 2, 1. So x-axis, I can choose a different point. It doesn't matter as long as B goes to B prime. So if I reflect over the x, 1, 2, 1, 2, puts me here. And then you notice this translation is both positive, so that would be 2 to the right and 1 up. So clearly that's not correct. And if you notice, if I was even to use point D, even, so this is how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units. So reflecting 7 units down. So again, these transformations have to work for all of the points, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. I just chose B because it was close to the x-axis. C, a translation along 2, -1, and then a reflection. Okay, so let's try, we'll use A this time. Translation of 2, -1, 1, 2, -1, and then a reflection over the x-axis. So 1 unit to the x-axis, 1 unit over the x-axis. Aha! That does map to point A. But again, let me try another point just to confirm. All right, so let me try, but if you notice, again, it would have to work for all the points. So if I use point D, 2 to the right, 1 down, and then a reflection over the x-axis would bring me down here. So you notice, even though it worked for A, option C worked for A, it doesn't work for any of the other points. So that's why I can eliminate that. And then D, rotation of 180 degrees. So remember that our rotations of 180, we can just negate our x and use the opposites of x and y. So point C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So point C is at 7, 6. If I believe I counted right. Nope, I reversed it. Sorry. I have a very bad habit of doing that sometimes. 6, 7. Okay, so 180 degree rotation would be just be -6, -7. So C, so -6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goes right off the graph. Negative 7 would be down here somewhere. And the translation of 4 units to the right and 1 down. So again, D doesn't work. So while A was our first choice and happens to be the correct choice, by eliminating B, C, and going through the options of B, C, and D is just a very good test taking strategy to ensure you didn't make any mistakes or forget something. Okay, so 13. Okay, so the image of A, which is 7, negative 6, after a reflection, y equals x, followed by a reflection of x equals negative 3. Okay. So let me first plot 7, negative 6. Okay, so it's going to be here. Now remember, y equals x, when I graph that, the x and y values are exactly the same. So we have that diagonal line. So we're going to reflect over that first. So remember, when we're reflecting over the line, so in this case, to get to the line, I need to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness. So I went up 13, which means I have to go to the left 13. Now, could I have gone left first and then up? Sure, I could have. It doesn't matter. You still end up in the same spot. But I need to go 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that puts me here. Now, this is at 7, so that's 7. I'm just double checking by counting along the axis. There's 7 units from that to the y-axis, then another 6 does bring me to 13. So I'm just double checking I counted correctly. And again, you could have counted left first and then up. It truly doesn't matter. You will still end up in the same spot. Then I'm going to reflect over y equals negative 3. Okay, and again, don't forget that x equals means all values of x on the line will have a value of negative 3, and the y value doesn't matter. So what I have is a vertical line that goes through the x-axis at negative 3. So you'll notice that I am exactly 1, 2, 3 units to that line of reflection. So I'm going to reflect 1, 2, 3 units over. And that puts me at 0, 7 for my final answer. Okay. Last question. While I am not fond of this question because there's too much misinterpretation that could occur here, but it says a cook flips pancakes over line J and then line K. What single transformation maps the pancake from P to P prime if we first reflect over J and then over K? Now, the assumption that they're trying to get you to make here is that from here to here is the same distance from here to here. I'm not quite sure why, because because I'm not quite sure how you can assume that, to be honest. But the fact that J to K is 6.8 inches, if we assume that P to J is 6.8 inches, if we add those two together, I get 13.6, and that's what they're trying you to see, is that two reflections over two equidistant lines is the same as a single translation of 13.6 inches to the left. Again, I'm not fond of this question. I think it's poorly written, but that's what they're looking for.